Hey, what's up? This is Dor from Kef Self-Development, and today what I wanted to talk to you about how to be more alpha, but not involving your ego into that. How do you do it? How you can still be an asshole, but without bringing your gremlin into this whole thing. So this is what we're gonna talk about. Let's start.
Amazing. I'm the alpha. Everyone.
Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Gal Gadot. So, before I even begin, if you're watching this video and you come from a space mind of like a small town, or you don't really like to be to think outside of the box and you like to play it by the book, this video is not for you. Please don't watch the video and then complain. This is not for mainstream people. This is not for people that like to use their gremlin and criticize everything. We don't want you here. Please go. Thank you. Now let's jump into the thing. Okay, so how can you be more alpha but without being more ego? Let's talk about some example of what I mean. We call him in Israel, by the way, I'm here in Israel, in Tel Aviv, we call him arsim. What is arsim basically? It's like guys that are like, yeah, fuck that, I'm the man, yeah, and they go like this, and they shake the horn, and they say, fuck you, why did you pass me? And all this kind of like alpha behavior. Now, the fact that they're allowing themselves to do it, it's probably, you can say, they're alpha, because they're allowing themselves to be in a fight mode, basically, like preparing for a fight with someone else, to be loud like a leader would, and they allow themselves to have all these like behaviors. But why these behaviors doesn't make them a real alpha? Okay, so let's talk about the ego. The ego is divided into two parts. You have the box and you have the gremlin. Now, the box is basically what you call, what am I? Like, I'm the 34, I'm from Tel Aviv, I'm from the city, I'm from Israel, I'm an Israeli guy, I work in this and that, like let's say I'm an engineer and I do this and that in my life, I'm a doctor, I'm a sportsman, I'm a basketball player. And all of these things, it's basically your box. It's how you define yourself. And every time you go close to the edges of the box, you start to feel a little bit fear. You start to fear that the box will change, and then you have like a protection mechanism, which is the gremlin. The gremlin in charge of your shadow world, of all, you know, the nasty stuff inside you. It's basically like if you saw the movie Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. It's like Gollum, you know, the creature in there. So that creature inside of you, it's basically your shadow world. He's sitting in his cave, in his dark cave, and he's in charge of all the nasty things, like being a victim, like getting into low drama, like making someone a prosecutor or blaming someone. So he creates like all this low drama in your life, all these nasty kind of things. He talks about other people, he argues, he want to show that he's right and you don't. So basically in charge of all the darkness there. And what he wants, his purpose, is the king of the shadow world. His purpose is to defend the box. So he just wants to keep the box the way it is. It's like his ring. He just wants to sit in it with his ring in the cave all day and keep things the way they are. Him and his ring. The same thing, you and your box. You just want to keep everything the same. So every time you're getting close to the edge of your box, the gremlin shows up and start to protect him. How does it look like? Let's say I'm this macho man and I'm walking in the street and I see some people sing in the street and having like a blast and having a jam session. How do I protect my box? Because if I'm gonna see those people and I want to, maybe part of me want to go join them and just leave my ego behind and just sit in the street and play and be cool and be fun and don't care about anyone. But then my gremlins come to the rescue and he wants to keep the box the same. So he's saying, look at these people. And then I tell my friend, look at these clowns sitting in the street, they have nothing better to do. I'm the macho, I'm the alpha, look at their life, bullshit. So for example, a good example of the gremlin protecting the box, let's say Donald Trump. He's an alpha, he want to keep his way. He doesn't care about like what other people think about him. He doesn't care about like he wants just to keep things the same for him, to go in his own course, okay? And you have his gremlin that protects him. His gremlin keep him safe in his own box, in his own behavior. And that's if you want to be, or I want to be, a real alpha, like the real version, alpha version of myself. This is something I don't want to do. So as my alpha version of myself, I can try to make everything like inside a box. I can reject all the feedback and saying it's bullshit, and I can't be afraid of going to the edge of my box and trying new things. A good example for someone that is alpha, but they do get out of his box a little bit, is, let's say, Wonder Woman. Okay, Gal Gadot from Israel. She's alpha, but she's very sensitive. She's very also feminine, so she's open to feeling and caring what other people think. And that's basically a big part of being alpha. Like, first of all, connected to your feminine side is great, and also wanting to go outside your box and letting these gremlin behaviors, basically getting feedbacks on your gremlin behaviors and try to change it. Try to be a true alpha, try to be a leader, but also not from a gremlin place. So now I'm gonna give you 6 examples how to do it. So the first part is getting your authority. What do I mean by that? You need to get your authority from everyone you ever given your authority to and put it back in yourself, in your center, okay? So maybe you gave your authority to your parents. Maybe you gave your authority to the government. Maybe you gave your authority to your teachers. Or maybe it's someone you admire, like let's say it's your boss, or let's say maybe it's the bar that you go to, it's the owner of the bar. So basically you're giving your authority to all these people. So when I give my authority to all these people, I'm not in my alpha, in my version of the most alpha that I can be. And why is that? Because I actually think that some other people are more important than me, and every time I meet them, it's like my center goes away to them. How does it look like? Let's say I'm meeting this bar owner, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? Yes, wow. Tell me, how is it going for you? And it makes me very un-alpha in this, because I think his authority is more important than me. And I basically, if he's gonna tell me something, I'm gonna like obey him, like he's my boss. I'm putting these people on a pedestal. So the first thing is you need to take this authority from these people and put it back in yourself. So how does it look like? It looks like when you're standing your ground, your center, you're bringing your center into your energetic center into your physical center, you're grounded, you're speaking from your heart or from your energetical center, and you're being like this. You don't give your authority to other people, and this conversation can look like totally different. It's like, hey, what's up? You're the owner of the bar, that's so cool, I love what you do. By the way, wouldn't this bar be cooler if people wouldn't smoke here? Just my idea, because I hate to come back and smell myself like cigarettes, even though I don't smoke, and it's also bad for my health. So that's the kind of conversation that you can have from taking your authority back. And a really good example about the authority thing is like, let's say Lord of the Rings again. Let's say Gandalf. So in the beginning of the movie, Gandalf is like trying to get his approval from Saruman. Why? Because he's the head of like the system, the head of the Witchers or the mage Ascola over there, school. And Gandalf has to ask his permission to do anything basically. And Gandalf comes to him to get his approval, like his authority. But towards the end of the movie, like Gandalf basically, okay, he ruins him, but he basically
How I can help you,
taking back his authority and then become from the gray wizard to the white wizard. So basically getting his authority back, and he doesn't need anyone to give him permission to protect Middle Earth. Thank you, Gandalf. So that's a good example of like taking your authority back. Stop thinking that like someone from the government need to give you permission to do something. Like I need to go to like a coaching school, I need to get this diploma before I can do something with my life. No, get your authority back and stop to look around for like patriarchal authority figures in order to get your permission. That's what one of the things that's going to help you be a true alpha and not like an ego alpha. The second thing you can do to be more alpha, your most alpha version of yourself, like a true alpha, is disconnect from social conditioning. what is social conditioning? It's basically how they program your mind since you were a kid, or since you were a teenager, but mostly since you were a kid. And they told you basically how to think. It's like you're a computer and they put this thoughtware inside you. And like a thoughtware. And you want to take this software back. And you want to disconnect yourself from social conditioning. How do you do this? Every time you feel this pressure on you, it's like gravity pushing all over your head, and it's like you feel this stress, this social anxiety coming up, and you feel that like, if I'm not gonna do this thing, if I'm not gonna talk this way to this person, let's say this person is coming to me and I'm afraid I'm not gonna be polite, I'm not gonna say the right thing. It's like a muscle, you're gonna work on it. And the first time you're gonna do is you're gonna take back your authority in this condition, and you can say something that's out of the social conditioning. Like the social condition thing is to say, hey, what's up? I'm all good, yes, I'm fine. And what you can say instead of it is someone say, hey, how's it going? You can say, I just stepped on this leaf and I'm looking on this tree right now, and I'm actually having a bad time in my life, but I feel joy because some things are improving, and I feel fear because I'm going abroad and it's a little bit scary. And you set up this whole conversation in a different context, from a context that is out of social conditioning. Another thing you can do is you can change like behaviors that everyone is doing. Like you see, for example, everyone going into a bar, everyone is running to the bar, grabbing a drink. The first thing, they come into a bar, they go into the bar, grabbing a drink. So you can try once to kind of reject this gravity on you and just stand there in the middle of the bar and just don't get a drink. And you stand there for a while and like you feel this pull, I need to get a drink or I need to do something, but you just stand there. And it's like a muscle. After you really work on this muscle, you can do crazy stuff in your life that are really different. For example, going in the middle of the street that is packed with people, probably some people that know me and think, what am I doing here in this weird kimono with this weird hair, talking in front of this camera in the street? But you can do that because you're disconnected from social conditioning. That's the second thing. Okay, the third thing is being more vulnerable. You want to be vulnerable. Okay. Vulnerable. Okay, the third thing is being more vulnerable. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't say it right. This is an amazing example for being vulnerable because I'm still working on my accent, and usually when you do it, so you become more of a leader, and you also, what is it? And being more vulnerable, usually when you do it, you become more of a leader, people feel more connected to you, and it's really amazing. For example, I once was in this party, it's like a nature party, and I don't know what happened to me, but I decided to show my vulnerability in this party, and I just walked around and telling people, yeah, I'm afraid, I feel nervous, like there's a lot of people here and I'm excited, I haven't been to a party for a while. And it's amazing like how much people can connect to this and connect to you. And this doesn't mean that you're losing anything, it actually means that you're more alpha because you are the first person that is ready to put his feeling out there. Now we have this tendency to try to put up a front when we meet people, and when you do this, it's like magic. Like, try this experiment just to meet someone, and the first thing you say is like, listen, I'm afraid, I feel nervous right now because I don't know if I wore something that is nice. And you'll be amazed how fast like this connection becomes, and you become an alpha. And again, alpha, it's not about like being on top of someone or being in a higher level than someone. It just means that it's not like patriarchy or something like that, but it just means that you are basically, you can lead, or you can lead together even. So being more vulnerable. The fourth thing, connect to nature. Okay, I can't stress this enough. How many times when I went to nature and I just got out of my house and I just walked barefoot and I just You wanna come into the video? Okay, cool. Can you speak English?
Yes, I can.
It's okay that you're in the video? You wanna join?
Huh? What is this video?
This is a video about how to be more alpha without having your ego involved.
Hey, what?
I'm alpha. He's alpha. It's a good example to show how it is. But I have a question for you. First of all, what do you think about Tel Aviv? You like it? Teal is a rock.
Okay,
I have a question for you, okay? When was the last time when you were vulnerable? You know what is vulnerable? פגיע.
כמה אנגלית, אני משמור.
פגיע, כאילו שבאת למישהו ואמרת, תשמע, אני מפחד עכשיו.
We are strong, big men, we are not afraid from anyone. No, I'm the alpha. Everyone. I was coming to my teacher and saying, I don't ready for the test, I'm afraid. You can get me down for 4 points. I don't want it. I don't want it.
And what the teacher said?
Slap him. The teacher is a very old man and is a sport teacher. He don't think nothing is from his life.
And he understand you?
No.
In addition, we have Portuguese, man. Say something in Portuguese.
Should be. Say Portuguese. You want מתרגם?
Okay, guys, thank you very much. אתם סבבה להיות בווידאו? בסדר? תעלה ליוטיוב.
מה השם שלך ביוטיוב?
כיף דור.
כיף דור, סגור.
אוקיי, you're good
תכתוב
with
את זה.
that.
נראה לי,
KFDOR.
את החלק על המורה שלי אני אשמח.
Thank you for
My
coming.
teacher is a fucking...
So, like that's a good example actually for, okay, they're pretty much young kids. It's hard for showing this vulnerability. It's hard to, the media and everything they see, or everything we see, it shows us the alpha like to show no emotion, you're not afraid of anything. And even when this kid told you the story that he was afraid, his teacher didn't understand it, didn't accept it. It's actually come from a really young age when, like, especially boys, if you're afraid or you're crying, sometimes they tell you like, don't cry, man up, be a boy. And since then you create like this different personality, because basically what happens is you want to survive. You have this mechanism that you think you're gonna die if you're not gonna adopt this other personality of like not being afraid. So this is what happens. We're gonna talk about it more in other videos. And it's really hard to like show emotion and not being this cocky alpha. This is totally fine, totally okay. With time you learn how to, and with self-development and possibility management, 2 things that I do learn and teach, to learn how to really feel, like really feel. And with that you can be more vulnerable. It's going to help you to actually be more alpha. I don't know if you saw the conversation, but you can kind of look at who was like more centered and grounded and who were more trying to be alpha but all over the place. So it was a good example for that. When you're in the city for a long time, like something in your brain change. I don't know what it is, but it's hard for you to open up, to feel like connected, to feel grounded. So once in a while, take a trip outside the city. I do it every day to a park, but once a week I get out of the city to the desert, to some faraway beach outside of all this beeping and honking and people and energy, and I just connect to nature. And this is something that really helped me to be this truly natural alpha and not to be lawyer city alpha. I don't know, if you put him outside somewhere, maybe he can't even get along. So it's really something in the chemistry of the brain. When you go outside to nature, you become more of your true alpha, and you come back, you have more clarity about things, and you can like really connect to your true essence, basically. Okay, when you want to be your true alpha and not some ego alpha, you need to learn something about charisma, okay? Because basically you're going to be a leader and you're going to be alpha like around people, not like on your own in nature, which you can be, which is cool also. But basically you want to talk to people, so you want to be more charismatic. Now, what's the social conditioning tells you about studying charisma or studying anything, like basically social development or like dating advice and stuff like this? It basically tells you that it's like nerdy to learn it, it's not cool, it's weird, it's creepy to learn all these kind of things, and basically want you to stay the same. So basically when you study charisma and you study self-development, you get all this context about how people work? Like, how do people think? Like, let's say even if you want to talk to someone, how do you approach him? And how can you like motivate people? How can you make people move somewhere? And all of that, of course, it's important to say, not in a gremlin way, not in like a way that you want to make like a win-lose situation. It's like, it's all about like winning happening for everyone. So you really want to learn how to use charisma to basically bring your bright principles into the world, which means basically go and bring to the space like love, clarity, honesty, and all these amazing things. So it have to come from this place, of course. So maybe it's the seven actual rule that you have to come from a good place around it, and you have to want to help the world in some way. You have to maybe try to do something creative, help the environment. Try to do something that nobody did before you. Try to find something that is good for the world. Try to create something that not for anyone to give you validation, not for anyone's authority over you. Try to do something creative just like for you. And maybe something that can help the world, maybe something that is different, that you can lead people in that direction. So if you want to have any more like charisma tips or any more social dynamics tips or any more like self-development things, possibility management, all the things all the tools basically I mentioned in this video coming from that world, and you want to do something good for the world, please write to me. You can send me an email, I put it on down here, and you can join one of our courses online. We also do coaching online, and we're traveling the world creating amazing content. We're also going on adventures. We also do things together with other coaches in the world and people that do self-development. We want to spread the message of self-development. We want to create the next culture. We want to do good stuff. So please keep checking my videos out, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Even what is your alpha version?
The universe is talking to me. David, I'm working in this.
One that is very alpha, like maybe a woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Gal Gadot.
Yes.
You look like her.
I know.
People tell me that. Hey everyone, if you like this short video, come check out the full version of this video. It's right now in my Patreon page. Patreon is a platform where you can support content creators. So you can go there and support me, and you can get a lot of value from it. I'm talking about exclusive videos that I'm afraid to put anywhere else than the Patreon page. You can get bonuses there. You can find ways to support and connect better with me personally. It's a better connection than anything else that I can offer you. So go inside right now, check out the full version of this video in my Patreon page, the link down below. Click it now. See you there.